Hey everyone, it's Jack here, TalkNorwichCity. Welcome back to another video. Hope you've all still got a very big... Hey everyone, it's Jack here, TalkNorwichCity. Welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing very well. I hope you still have a big smile on your face from last week. 2 away wins in a week. They're like buses, aren't they? Absolutely brilliant from Norwich City last week. And I cannot wait to get back to Carrow Road this Saturday. There's lots going on in the Norwich City world. It's always busy, isn't it? And I thought it'd be nice to have a bit of a sit down this evening and run you through exactly what's going on at this stage. Look, the start to the season, I think, has been, we'll give it a 7 out of 10 so far. Win against Watford, win against Portsmouth, disappointing opening day defeat against Millwall. Have the 2 performances in which we've won been perfect? No, they haven't. I think the second half performances in both left a little bit to be desired, but that's fine. I think they're easy fixes. But some questions have been raised, and I guess the big question that's been raised is around this right back position, and it feels as if there's been a slight sort of mountain made out of a molehill. Is it Kellen Fisher? Is it Jack Stacey? Who starts? And I think that's a really interesting debate. And look, it's kind of come up because of the system in which we're playing. We're going 5 at the back, kind of 3 centre backs with a left wing back and a right wing back, and they play very high up the pitch. You've got Pap Ramadou Diallo on that left hand side. You've had Crescene, you've had Schlupp, you've got Lucia Mahavo, who will be coming back at some point as well. But it's this right back position that is causing some stress amongst the Norwich City fan base, and there's no need to stress. And I'll tell you why. Jack Stacey was obviously given a new contract in the summer, and I think that surprised a few people. It didn't surprise others. I think Jack Stacey is a good person to have around the camp. He's experienced. I still think he's a very good player at this level. Is he perfect? No. I don't think anyone is perfect at this level. But he is a reliable championship defender. And then you've got Kellen Fisher, last year's young player of the season. As you can see there, played 41 times last season. And on the whole was very, very good in a breakout campaign. Kellen had an injury over the pre-season. I think he played like 20 minutes of pre-season football. And as in the periods that he's played so far this season has maybe struggled a little bit. He gave away the penalty at Portsmouth. It was saved. It didn't mean anything in the end. And there's been some kind of links to Premier League clubs over the last couple of days. Nottingham Forest, as you can see there, being one of them. I don't think Kellen's going anywhere. I think let's clear that up first of all. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think it was quite a lazy report from the journalists that put it out there. There will always be interest around Norwich City's best young players. That's a good thing. It means that they're playing good football and they're highly rated. So first of all, I don't think he's going anywhere. Second of all, let's not get our knickers in a twist about, is it Jack Stacey? Is it Kellen Fisher? We talked about it on the latest TNC podcast, and if you haven't already seen it, please do give it a watch. It was a brilliant episode with Freddie Stewart, who is an absolute passion merchant in the best possible way. But I think as Norwich City fans over the last couple of seasons, we've become so used to only having one good player in each position. And actually, you look at the successful championship campaigns of recent times, you always have 2 good players in every position. And actually, we've got a situation now where we've got 2 decent players in that right back position. You've got Jack Stacey, who is a very different player to Kellen Fisher, but I think is more than adequate. And you've got Kellen Fisher, who, according to reports, has been linked with Nottingham Forest. I don't think that's going to happen. As I say, last year's young player of the season, very highly rated, still very young, still lots to work on, of course. And I think he has struggled in the games that he's played so far this season. But he didn't have a pre-season. He hasn't been fit. He's still getting back up to speed. And actually, for the Watford game, I thought he was pretty good for the most part. So I think if it were me, if Kellen's 100% fit, he starts. I don't mind Jack Stacey at right back. I think that's a good option to have. And either way, I think in this system, those wing-back roles are hugely demanding. You're expected to attack, you're expected to defend. And I think as that system progresses, if Liam Manning sticks with it, we will see both Fisher and Stacey, and on the other side, Diallo or Schlupp or Mojave, whoever may play in that role, I think we'll start to see them progress. So let's chill out in the right back position. I think we've got two extremely talented wing back roles. I don't think Kellen's going anywhere. Let's go easy on him. He's an incredibly talented young player. We're in safe hands there. I thought I'd cover, just for a bit of fun as well, what's going on out in France with Jonny Rowe. Now, we've got a couple of kind of rumours circulating, which don't well, actually, this one does directly impact Norwich City, but I think are really good talking points anyway. Jonny Rowe, let's have a go. Now, obviously, left Norwich City under a cloud. Signed for Marseille permanently, officially this summer, for £17 million, which was a brilliant bit of business from Ben Napper and Norwich City. Jonny Rowe had a fantastic kind of season a couple of seasons ago, scored a couple against Ipswich, was a marvellous player, is a marvellous player. Poorly advised, and actually on the ground, in the grand scheme of things, had a pretty decent season at Marseille last time out. It has all gone wrong for Jonny Rowe at Marseille. He is now up for grabs, having signed for them permanently like 3 months ago. Marseille have placed Jonny Rowe and Rabiot on the transfer list for unacceptable behaviour following last week's defeat at Rennes. They apparently got in a little bit of a scrap after they lost 1-0. Rowe was substituted in the 63rd minute, while Rabiot played the full 90, and the pair were involved in a post-match altercation. Marseille said in a statement that the decision has been put to put the pair up for sale after unacceptable behaviour in the dressing room after the game. Now, you might be thinking, Jack, how does this involve me? How does this involve Norwich City? Well, Norwich City have a sell-on clause for Jonny Rowe. Cast your minds back to 12 months ago, right? When Jonny Rowe was sent out on loan originally to Marseille, it was a stipulation that they had to make it permanent. And he went through for 17 million quid or something like that, 17 million euros. But there was what I believe to be in between a 15 and a 20% sell-on clause for Jonny Rowe. Now, this would be an absolute masterstroke from Ben Napper. He obviously hasn't organised the dressing room scrap. But Leeds and Bologna are both interested in Jonny Rowe. Obviously, you got Daniel Farke at Leeds. They won an opening day against Everton in the Premier League. Bologna are very interested in him for a rumoured fee of around 20 million quid. Marseille will make their money back plus some. Leeds or Bologna will get a decent player. For Leeds, it would be a homegrown talent. For Bologna, they're getting a very talented young winger. And Norwich City will get a nice chunk of that as well with the sell-on clause. So, look, I'm no fan of violence. I'm a pacifist. But well done to Jonny Rowe for getting in a scrap, because it means some money will be landing in the Norwich City coffers very soon. Fascinating one. I really hope, in all seriousness, that Jonny Rowe kind of knuckles down and puts on a show somewhere. He is an extraordinarily talented young player. But ever since he kind of made it somewhat in the Championship, he has developed his career in a slightly odd way, and I think he needs someone to just take charge of him and advise him well, and to just knuckle down and get on with his football, because ever since he's left Norwich City, and that was under a cloud, there has been controversy around Jonny Rowe, and I don't like it, because he's a talented young player and I want him to do well. But it's all going a bit pear-shaped at the moment. So hopefully Jonny Rowe cracks on, and hopefully Norwich City get a decent sell-on for him. And the last one, which I thought was an interesting one, was Callum Doyle. Callum Doyle is going to Wrexham for £8 million. Now, Doyle was obviously on loan with us last season from Manchester City. You can see they played 43 times across the cups and the everything. And I think on the whole was a very talented young player, still only 21 years old. Now, the reason I've included this was I thought he was going to go for more this summer. I think I remember saying in a video a couple of months back when, we knew that Doyle was going back to Manchester City, and then it was kind of up for grabs whether Doyle might return here on a permanent. I remember saying, I think if he's less than £12 million, Norwich City should do everything they can in order to sign him. And £8 million is less than £12 million. I didn't get a great grade in GCSE maths, but I do know that. And he will be going to Wrexham. Now, Wrexham have recently spent £10 million on Nathan Broadhead, which is the most mental Championship signing of the summer by a long, long way. But this looks incredibly good value. Now, I guess the reason I've included it here is because look, he's not coming to Norwich City. We know that, and I think if Norwich City wanted to, they could have probably gone out and got him. We could probably afford the £8 million. We could definitely afford the £8 million. We've opted for Jakov Medic, and obviously we've got Cordoba, we've got Harry Darling. I think I'd probably take Doyle over Medic, maybe. Very different player. I certainly wouldn't take him over Harry Darling. But it just made me think, like, should we have maybe gone out and done a bit more to get hold of Callum Doyle? Like, perfect option for a left-sided centre-back. Could probably play that left wing-back role quite nicely. I think he'll do well at Wrexham. I like Callum Doyle. I think he's a good pro. He's played a hell of a lot of football for a 21-year-old. I think we were his third loan move and he played 2 full EFL seasons before us. I don't know, just got me thinking, like, should we have gone out and really splashed the cash for Callum Doyle? I think he's a really good pro and I think he'll do well at Wrexham. And I think for £8 million, that's a bit of a bargain. So I guess the moral of the story from this one is, look, there's still lots going on. I think there will be a few more outgoings. I think Norwich City will be looking for a few more outgoings from now until the end of the transfer window. We've not got loads of time left, 10 days or so. They definitely want to shift George Long. They'll definitely want to shift Shane Duffy, Anis Ben Slimane, potentially Emi Marcondes. That will be where it will get busy. We saw that Marcelino Nunez might be out for a couple of weeks as well. I don't think that changes anything in terms of the transfer window. But keep an eye on the outgoings. And let's not get stressed about the right-back position. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.